Like if I were to sum it all up, I would say it's just a lot of fun and you can learn a lot.
For me, the perspective of working at a car dealership is the amount of knowledge, but also the amount of opportunities that you can.
Yeah.
Once you learn, you can work whatever. That's one thing that for me personally, on a car dealership is something that opens.
Like to me, a car dealership is like America. It's the land of opportunity, right? You could come here and do whatever the heck you want, no matter where you're from, no matter where you've been. And if that doesn't scream USA, I don't know what it does, right?
All the opportunities for other people, like transport businesses, like people for body shops and different stuff, right? I mean, car dealership or the auto industry. I'm super proud of being in the auto industry right now. Also, one thing that I can add is you're gonna expect growth. If you highly want to grow at a dealership, you can grow. Hello everyone, welcome back to MotorCast. In this episode, I have the great opportunity to be with my partner, my friend, and I don't know what else, bro. I don't know more words, but he is Rahim Bimani.
Brother from another mother.
Exactly.
My boy.
That's exactly it.
Lopez. I think you should.
I think it was something very, very inappropriate, right?
He was yourself, bro. He was yourself.
Okay.
What's today's episode about?
On today's episode, we're gonna talk about what can you expect if you're trying to work on a car dealership. Will you take a job on a car dealership? Is it a good experience working on a car dealership? Normally, when people think about working on a car dealership, they just think about sales, but it's more than that.
You know, I was just thinking the same thing. So, like, when you first asked the question, what to expect when you work at a car dealership, I was like, by buying first, went to sales, but then it went to admin, and then it went to detail. I was like, man, how are we going to cover all of these? And then I was like, man, I can't get too deep because then he's going to start talking shit. So let me just keep it nice and simple and straight to the point.
Cannot put a beep, please.
Oh, beep.
This guy is disrespectful, right? So, yeah, bro. I mean, it's funny because in general, for me, in my experience, there's not a lot of dealerships, and you didn't even mention it right now, which is totally fine. That no one is talking about the marketing department or the photographer, but for me, that's the department that I'm running is one of the most important, and dealership don't have a marketing agent or a marketing department. But yeah, I mean, what's your experience on working at a car dealership in so many different positions?
I think it's a lot of fun, man. That's like, if I were to sum it all up, I would say it's just a lot of fun and you can learn a lot. Every day is new. Every day is full of new information. And probably my favorite part is there's a lot of people, right? Like I'm like genuinely like outgoing and I like to have conversations and things like that. So like for me, it's a ton of fun because you get to meet new people no matter what department you're in. You're going to meet new people every day. You're going to talk to new people. If you want to talk to new people every day. And I just feel like it's my preferred because like the kind of jobs that I've had in the past that I didn't like is like if I only can keep to myself or I can only talk to one or two people in the day, like that's like very lonely to me. So I like it for the fact that like even if it's a smaller dealership, you get to talk to a bunch of different people and meet new people every day, and that's probably my favorite part.
Right. Are you a talker? Like, do you like talking to people? Like,
I think I'm I'm outgoing. Yeah, absolutely.
Like for me, yes, that I like that part, but I'm not a talker. I don't know how to say it, but for me, the perspective of working at a car dealership is the amount of knowledge, but also the amount of opportunities that you can.
Yeah.
Once you learn, you can work whatever. Like for example, I let's just bring the idea of a title clerk. For example, if you learn how to do titles, you have two options. You can stay in the job, you can get a higher job on a different dealership, or you can do it on your own, or you can do both. Like you can, let's say you work on a Monday through Friday schedule, right? On Saturdays, you have the opportunity because you know now something that there's not a lot of people that are doing. So you can charge, you can create your small side hustle out of the thing that you already do on your daily basis. That's one thing that for me personally, on a car dealership is something that opens.
I think I will agree there. So like I feel like having a career at a car dealership, you'll have, if you want, right, you'll have one of three options. Number one, like you said, it is very entrepreneurial, right? Like the idea of having a side hustle, or like it doesn't even need to be a full-on business, but just having a side hustle and having skills that can help you earn another income outside of the dealership. Like you learn that. Number two, it's, in my opinion, one of the only places where you can grow through an entire company without having a certain degree or having a certain certification or whatever. Anybody can do whatever they want. Like, you know, when you're a kid and your parents tell you, hey, if you dream big enough, you could be whatever you want. I feel like that's what working at a car dealership is like. There is no box. It's like, if you're in detail and you say, hey, I want to own the company, great, fantastic, no problem. If you're a receptionist and you're like, hey, I want to be in sales, no problem, right? Whatever you decide, it's like you can literally do whatever you want. And the third is, if you're that type, it's very like I don't know like what word I'm thinking of, but it's like the job security is very high. People are always going to need cars. And if you're not, not everybody wants a side hustle or to grow. Some people just like, hey, I just want my job and I just want to do that. Fantastic. The job security is through the roof. Right. People are always going to need cars. That means they're always going to need the service that you offer in the dealership.
Whether if it's electric, gas, diesel,
doesn't matter.
It's gonna need
cars.
Right.
Exactly. So I think for me, it's one of the best industries.
And that particularly, I just, the other day I hop into TikTok. I was
that's all you do, bro. TikTok all day.
I know I'm a TikToker, but I'm not creating the content. I'm just consuming. I'm changing this kind of 24.
Same.
So I hop into TikTok because I was trying to get content ideas for car dealership, for if you're in the auto industry, right? So I jump into this guy. He was a photographer. I don't remember his name, so that's why I don't give him a shout. But he shares a lot of good information of the car industry, or how to be a photographer in the car industry. And one thing that he said and stayed in my mind was, don't on the car industry, don't think that the detailer today can be the owner of tomorrow. And that's exactly it. I'm just picturing myself. I know you, and there's my cousin that he started, and he has his own dealership right now. There's a lot of people that I admire, and I
even Evan. You know Evan.
Oh yeah,
retail.
Yeah, Evan, 100%. Shout out to Evan as well. There's a lot of successful people that I know, that I admire, that I appreciate, that they started as detailers. That my story, for example, I was a porter.
Yeah.
And the amount of growth that you can have, the facility that you can have on growing on a dealership is just like that. Is that the word, diminish?
Underestimate.
Don't underestimate what a detailer of today can do. It probably they can be the GMs,
and
the owner of the
and just to like offer some insight, like, you know, the reason that we're not picking on the detailers, but the reason like we say that is that's like detail and reception. That's like the entry level position at a dealership. Like if you just need a job, you don't have any experience, never done this before, those are like the true entry level positions. You can start off by cleaning the cars. You can start off by answering the phones, things like that.
Right. So yeah, that stuck to me for the longest. Also, if you jump into a sales position, I've never been into a sales position, but I know that you can make a lot of money, right?
Yeah, absolutely. What happened? Absolutely. Like I guess like I'll share the story, and like I just don't want it to come off the wrong way, but like I remember when I was in sales, it was very lucrative, it was very rewarding, and the monetary aspect was definitely there. And I remember sitting with somebody that I love and they love me, and they were chatting with one of their friends, and their friend was talking about their son and how I think he had just became a doctor of some sort. I don't remember exactly what kind. And I remember that person telling my mom, like, oh, he just did this. He just got a fantastic new salary of like, I think they said like 60,000 or 70,000, something like that. And I remember that person turning to me the person that I was with, and it was like, yo, why don't you do something like that? Why don't you go back to school and do something like
Why
that?
don't you get serious with
Why don't you
your
get serious with your life? Why don't you? This person's making $60,000-$70,000 a month, and that year I had already crossed that mark, and it was not even close to the end of the year yet. And I remember thinking like, yo, this is so different than anything that people even know about, right? And if it's cool with you, before we dive so deep into the sales portion of it, like, what are the jobs you can even have at a dealership?
Right.
You know what I mean?
I'm gonna name it. Because obviously you're the GM, you know more spots, but you can be detailer, you can be a mechanic, you can be a salesperson, sales manager, title clerk, admin clerk, transport clerk. You can be a controller. You can be in marketing. You can be a photographer. You can be in finance. What else? I think that's it. Or
Like-
you can be buying cars.
You could be a buyer, you could be a service director, you could have HR, and like, I'm just gonna throw like a cloak.
Mm-hmm.
There's many managers. You could be a manager of everything. You could be a manager of a manager. You could be a manager of a process, right? There's like a million different managers that you could have depending on the dealership. But like, how cool is this? In one place, we just named like 12 to 15 different opportunities. And there could be even more than that.
Mm-hmm.
I guess did we even name sales?
Yeah.
Okay, so like there's 12 to 15 different opportunities.
I didn't mention Porter.
Porter, right? Custodian.
Porter, bro, does for me. When I was a porter, I used to love it because we can think that salesperson, blah blah blah, but the porter is the most important person at the dealership. He's the one moving everything, the whole dealership around.
Right, and you know what's funny? And the more we get into this, the more everybody hopefully realizes that every person at the dealership is the most important person at the dealership. And I guess we didn't even name service advisors, parts, like
parts,
15, probably 15 to 20 different positions at a dealership.
Mm-hmm.
At a dealership. Like, think about other companies, right? Think about like Starbucks, for example. You're going to have cashiers, you're going to have manager, you're going to have barista. Maybe, I'm not at Starbucks, but maybe 3 or 4 others, 5, 6 different opportunities. Let's look at McDonald's. You're going to have the cook, you're going to have the cashier, you're going to have a manager, maybe a stock person, right? And most places, right? Not all, but most companies and businesses are going to have 5 to maybe even going to 10. But imagine one business has 15 to 20 different opportunities.
Exactly that. Opportunities, not position, but
Opportunities, right? And that's, like, to me, a car dealership is like America. It's the land of opportunity, right? You could come here and do whatever the heck you want, no matter where you're from, no matter where you've been. And if that doesn't scream USA, I don't know what it does, right?
And not just about that, but probably I'm jumping a little bit out of topic, and probably we can have it on a different episode. But all the opportunities for other people, like transport businesses, like people for body shops and different stuff, right? I mean, car dealership or the auto industry. I'm super proud of being in the auto industry right now.
Absolutely. And like, you know, one thing I want to say too is like, and I hope times have changed, right? But like, growing up, like, if you were working at a dealership or really had anything, unless you were owning it, like, it just wasn't a respectable position, right? And I don't know why that was, right? And it's crazy because it's, you know, I didn't just get plopped in there as the general manager. Like, even when I was in the entry level positions, like, I was really proud. Like, when I was in detail, I was like really proud of it because, like, yo, these cars aren't clean and these customers don't buy these cars if it's not for me.
Exactly.
It's just a fact.
If it don't go
right
through me.
Right. And the other part that's my favorite is it's just like a chain effect. You can't do the best job that you can do without me doing the best job I can do. I can't do the best job without John doing the best job he can do, without Stacy, without Sarah, right? Like, it's just like a chain effect. Everybody has to do their best to make sure it flows, right? It's just like gears. You know what I mean? And I think that's pretty cool, you know?
Right. Yeah, I totally love it. What other what do you think, like, if you want to be in an admin position, is that something very good? to be in an admin position?
I think like depending on, and I guess that's the other cool part. It's like it's also like whatever is fun to you, you can find that position here, right? So like there's gonna be some people that are genuinely like, yo, I like doing computer work, I like doing admin work, I like you know, having my own office or cubicle or my own section, and things like that. And then even that gets broken out, right? Maybe you're more to yourself and like, hey, you know, I don't want to talk to a lot of people. Like I don't have the courage to like talk to maybe 15, 20 customers in a day. Great, there's an admin position just for you. Or hey, I'm outgoing and I don't mind talking to 15, 20, 100 people a day. Fantastic. There's an admin position for you. And the cool thing is like if you just, not even if you're good at, but if you become good at, right? Like for example, like let's give a shout out to Cece, right? Ciamara. She started off as a receptionist, right? I met her before Jonesboro was even open. She came to Midtown for an interview. She started off as a receptionist. So then she went from reception to like, let's say like an admin clerk. She was helping with a bunch of different admin opportunities and things like that. Then she picked up dispatching, right? Setting up transport and stuff like that. And so now she's doing some admin work. Now she's doing some transportation. Then she picked up accounts receivables, and then she picked up something else, and then she picked up something else. And now she is a huge part of an entire wholesale operation. And that's the person I go to more than, probably not more than, but like it's one of my top 5 people that I go to in the day to day to get anything that I needed done, right? Like we don't have any inventory for sale if she doesn't do her part. You know what I mean? And that's how cool it is.
Shout out to Sissy.
Shout out to your mom.
So yeah, I've seen her growth as well. I mean, I think I saw her as a receptionist, and now that I'm seeing Sissy on her own office and all that, and
her own office, her own process, like her own like team, you know, it's really cool.
Yeah,
and like it's cool to like now you even see that duplicating. Like look at Litzy, right? She was a receptionist and she just made the jump to admin. She's like with everything she's learning and doing, like I can't wait to see her spread her wings, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So and also one thing, and probably that we can correct our audience is that is everyone gonna work long hours on a dealership or not exactly?
So like
you have a Monday through Friday schedule, 9 to 5. How does it work?
You know, so like the common practice and the common theme is if you're gonna work at a dealership, it's gonna be long hours. I'm super proud to say the only person that work long hours in here is me.
Oh my God!
And it's because I want to. It's because I want to, right? Like
true.
I like it's because they don't have to, right? Like so like I feel like okay, let me rephrase that. There's people that work way longer hours than me, but they're not required to.
Right.
They want to. Yeah. Right. And that's the difference. So like it really, now this part really depends on the dealership, right? And the culture of the dealerships. So are you gonna work long hours? Is really gonna depend on the culture, and that's something that you can kind of find out before you even make that move to a dealership, right? But do you have to work long hours? Not necessarily. Depends on the dealership. But like an admin, it's Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, right? For a technician, 5 days a week, either a morning shift or an evening shift, 8-hour days, right? I'm really even excited to say, like, in the sales staff, 5-day work week. Like, that's insane, right?
But that's a general situation on the dealership or us.
That's us. So like
for me, it's important that also clarify how that's
right. So
right.
So like industry wise, like if you're an admin, you're still gonna have like that 40-45 hour work week, Monday through Friday. With the technicians industry wide, it's definitely at least 40 hours, but I've even seen some dealerships where it's as long as 40 hours worth of work is done, they can either leave or they can continue to pump out more vehicles. So like it'll be kind of like not set your own schedule, but pick how much you put in or take out. Sales is brutal at most dealerships, right? It's called bell to bell. Bell to bell means from open to close.
Oh my God.
And in some cases, 6 days a week. So like, let's say a dealership's open 10 hours a day, 6 days a week, 60 hours a week. That's a lot.
And imagine if you didn't sell something that day.
Imagine you didn't sell something that week.
Oh my God.
You know what I mean? And then like the managers, they have it really tough, right? Especially sales managers, finance managers and things like that. At most dealerships, they're scheduled. Like the funny thing is the schedule is posted on the door. Do you get that?
Yeah.
So like whatever the dealership hours are is their hours. You know, so
But at the end of the month, ka-ching.
if they're doing a good job, yeah, absolutely. Depending on the dealership. You know what I mean? So are there long hours? I think it depends on the dealership and it depends on the position you're in, but it definitely can be. And the theme is at most places I think there is.
Right. So I don't know. You have something else? I mean, I know that you are super passionate about this topic, but I don't know if you want to say something.
Yeah, like
something.
so like let me ask you this, Homer, like what about like culture wise? Like I know Motorvation's been your only dealership, right?
Yes.
So like what do you think other people think of the culture at dealerships without talking about Motorvation?
I mean, not of other people, but my perspective from dealerships is that you're gonna work a lot. You're gonna work a lot of hours. Um, Not just that, but a lot of dealerships have a bad reputation. That's what I think. But once you get deep into the car dealership industry, you understand. Obviously, there's different type of dealerships. We gotta make it clear, but you understand that at the end of the day, it's business. It's business, and you gotta learn how to be in the business. But my perspective is that working at a dealership can bring you a lot of opportunities, as I said at the beginning. Like you can create your own. Like going back to the detail position, you can get your own customers on your
Yeah.
days off, and you can charge the same amount for a vehicle that you make on a regular day. You can start creating your own thing. So that for me, the car industry, how the car industry is moving and bringing opportunities to lives.
Yeah.
I mean, that's something that I don't see a lot on other industries.
Absolutely. I think like if I were to give like 3 to 5 things that what to expect working at a car dealership, I would say number 1, expect to learn many different skills, right? Like you have to be open to learning new skills, and you have to be open to learning in general. Otherwise it's just not going to be a fun time per se. It's going to be really hard. It's going to be a lot of obstacles, but if you're open to learning and you accept it, that's going to be a lot of fun. I think another thing you can expect is expect to see a lot of different people all the time, right? Like for example, yesterday we probably had over 25 to 30 clients walk in. And that's not even thinking about the kids they brought or the family members they brought or whatever the case is. Like Gus had one family yesterday of 6 or 7 people, right? I would say expect to make some deep friendships. That's one thing that I learned just being in the car dealership business most of my life is some of my best friends came from those dealerships. Like you just make it's kind of weird. It happens at all jobs, I'm sure, but like you just make this deep connection and they're like just people that like just really become your friends and family, right? I think you expect one thing you can expect is expect like it could be positive and negative, but expect pressure, right? It's because so many people rely on each other. There's always, no matter the position, right? Even like if you said, hey, the custodian has a lot of pressure to make sure the facility stays clean. The photographer, the vehicles can't go online, can't be sold, can't be shown without the photographs, right? Sales. In some cases, dealerships that don't have a service center, they literally can't pay their bills and their employees without the sales, right? Without the sales team. That's a lot of pressure. Think about service, right? Unless the vehicles are getting fixed the right way, sales can't sell them, right? And so on and so forth. And it's a domino effect. So it could be good and it could be bad, right? So expect a lot of pressure. And number 5, expect to have a lot of fun all the time. Like there's never a dull day. It's never a boring day per se. It's always something going on. It's something always happening for the first time ever. Always cool cars. Expect to see a lot of cool cars. Really, like almost no matter the dealership, expect to see a lot of cool cars.
Also, one thing that I can add is you're gonna expect growth.
Yes.
If you highly want to grow at a dealership, you can grow.
Yeah, so expect it. If that's something you want out of life, absolutely expect that it's gonna happen there.
And it doesn't have to be financially on that first year, but with time you're gonna grow, regardless of if it's financial, with experience, personally, professionally, you're gonna grow regardless of your definition of growth. But you're gonna grow no matter what.
Absolutely. And just like one cool thing, like that's not really an expectation, but like one thing that I really like about the auto industry is like you don't have to be perfect to be in it, right? There's like some industries where like you have to be like this chiseled version, like you have to look a certain way, you have to be a certain way, you have to be like very polished, right? You have to be polished, professional, and you just don't have to be that way. And for the auto industry, like don't get me wrong, it's nice, but like it's just not necessary, right? Like it's it's cool. It's just like very open and it's very inviting, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So I really love this topic, bro. I don't know. I think we touch every single point, but one thing that I wanna close it again, and that thing that I learned from this TikToker. Don't underestimate the position that a person can have at the beginning at a dealership. That person, don't underestimate it. That person can be the general manager or can be the owner of tomorrow. That's why working at a dealership, for me, obviously I know that for you, has changed my life. And these are some of the things that you can expect of working at a car dealership.
And like I just want to end on like, yo, I love the auto industry. So like this is a cool topic. I really like that you came up with it. And it's just an industry that I absolutely love. So like if anybody watching, listening, you guys have some questions about it, want to learn more about the positions, whatever, I
Want to work with us?
Want to work with us, right? Want to join the winning team? You know what I'm saying? And change your life. I got you. But if you have any questions about it, message us, email us, text, whatever, right? You can find us. Let me do the outro with the social media.
I was expecting that for the last 20 episodes. Okay, go ahead.
All right, so you can find us on YouTube. Look up Motorvation Trucks. You can find us on Spotify at MotorCast. You can find Homer on social media as Homer Lopez, Homer Simpson, Homer like Homer Simpson, and Lopez like Jennifer Lopez. You can find me on Instagram as the truck dealer, and you can
_truck_dealer.
And you can find us everywhere on social media at Motorvation Trucks.
Exactly. So yeah, as a recap, I wanna that's how you feel when I'm talking, right? Like you made it so long just to make this outro. So it's gonna be everywhere: YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. Motorvation Trucks, Spotify, MotorCast. You
Bro, I
can
just
find
said that. I just said all of that.
exactly, but you made it so long, bro. And
Hey, what do you do?
you can follow Rahim at Truck Dealer Homer Lopez, bro. I always have fun with you.
For sure.
Bye bye.
See y'all.